Okay. let me just start by making a correction to my last video. I don't like Funk's freaking essay at all because he just all the stuff he said was just infactual shit. Like Jane was being privileged and all this other stuff. She don't get none out of her status. She's not like a rich person. I think Pop Crocker always kept in control of their finances and probably even money that she couldn't even use. Or trust me, if she could use that money, that their house would be so much more lavish with more things in it. But no, it's the same as John's. Almost kind of makes me think that she doesn't have any kind of privilege or sway or anything. She was just a regular teenager. Well, as regular as ectobiology slime babies get. You know? But Funk thinks that she had privilege and she's skeptical. She's skeptical because one, she's a person that pulls jokes on people and thinks that people are fucking with her when the shit that they're talking about is real. Like Funk to me just like look it's like he remembered all the wrong shit about Jane and expected like most people to just take it. Like woo, and I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna fucking sit there and take it. And it was gonna be a video that I was gonna do off the heels of that video back in the day, but I just didn't have enough time. I was still working on the Bugsy verse. I was still writing and conceptualizing a lot of stuff that I was working on. I just didn't have the time. That video would have been a straight up fan Brad Basher video when I was still doing it. But it's just nowadays I just feel like Homestuck 2 will always go down in history as a very poorly executed thing that they tried to do. Yup. Some of you may not see it that way, but I will. I always will. If you like it, cool. Like someone does. But for the rest of us, it ain't a thing. It's not something we just wanna read. And even when everything is released in like this massive chunk, I'm gonna review it. We gonna talk about it, and that's gonna be it. May it might surprise me. Maybe you, may it won't suck big. May it won't suck quite as hard. But Homestuck 2 just kind of shows that some things don't, like official sequels don't need to happen all the time. Those fan sequels are than an official than better than official better than the official works. I do feel bad for all the writers that got death threats because they are who they are. They're trans, and these idiots felt the need to fuck with them. I feel bad about that. I totally feel bad about that. And the dickheads who did that, I hope you're fucking happy. I hope you fucking feel guilt for the rest of your fucking days. Because it shouldn't matter if a person is trans. What should matter is the content of that person's work. But there is that one person that the one person that was on the writing staff that said Vriska was always right, and I'm just like, whoever you are, could you take a sit? Can you sit down and just realize that Vriska did a bunch of things wrong? But other than that, I wouldn't just go after somebody because of who they are, what they identify as. Because like, it is what it is. What it is. If you identify as a chick, a dude, or non-binary, like, dude, I ain't got no problem with you. I'll call you by your pronouns. You just gotta tell me which ones. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my god, I'm gonna hold back because I don't want to hurt the writer's feelings because everybody gave them death threats. No, I'm gonna treat them like I would treat any person I review. But I'm not gonna be overly harsh like a certain animist now that has his own that has his finger up his ass, and I'm not gonna be like Mother's Basement, who is a who is who basically is very hypocritical and a contrarian, and I'm not gonna be like Funk and be like, oh well, I'm not gonna be like Funk and oh well be like, well, what you said is right because you're right. And I'm not gonna hate on Hussey for I'm not gonna hate on Hussey too much. Literally, we all did that the moment that news came out. We all hated on Hussey for that for a whole entire month, and I still to this day don't even want to finish High Swap because legit I feel very 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 fucking slighted. Like, how can you enjoy a game if, like, Hussey literally took someone, didn't tell him why a motherfucker was fired, or and did all this stuff and told this other person about it and just was like, hmm. And one pumpkin can be like, oh, this is slender, but it's like, you guys are supposed to how's he supposed to handle all the business stuff? He's the head. If the head if the head gets separated, the body dies. And that's what a business is. Because Hussey's whole stuff was elsewhere, that's why What Pumpkin is kinda radio silent right now. I just feel like, and and I'm not gonna talk too much about the business at One Pumpkin, but it's hard for me to enjoy any of their products when I know what I know. Some people can play High Swap no problem and be totally fine, but me, I can't. I was gonna do a whole thing on High Swap. Now I feel like I gotta nix the whole thing and just push everything. Nix this whole part of the storyline because I just don't want to do High Swap Act 2. My thoughts may change, but for right now, that wound is still fresh. I just I felt kind of betrayed. Secondhanded, like I got some secondhand betrayal because. Say what you want about Sarah's video. She was just saying what the information that she found, and that's what it is. You can be, like, One Pumpkin staff can be mad or angry, but at the end of the day, it's what she was saying. It's her video and what she was saying, and the information y'all didn't give her until, like, in the actual cease and desist letter, which I thought was weird. It doesn't make everything better. It just makes the company look worse. Downright. Someone's in here, so I can just straight up say what I need to say here. Give me a minute. Like I say, y'all were like. It just shows that What Pumpkin was damn near incompetent when dealing with this kind of stuff. And I'm taking a minute to talk about that because, legit, I do have my own misgivings of What Pumpkin after this whole fiasco. Because the thing is, if you do stuff like this, you're always going to have bad PR. And everything associated with the brand will always be like, oh, didn't they put a cease and desist letter to one Homestuck fan? And that's what people are going to fucking remember. And trust me, as the years go on, they're only gonna remember that and not what a Homestuck used to be. And that's what pisses me off more. But like I said to my friend, like I said to my friend, like I said to a friend I talk off and on to, the hussy who made Homestuck proper isn't the same hussy who is running What Punkin now. People change throughout the years, and this was a huge change. That's how I feel about that. Whether for good or for ill, I don't know. But I always feel like Homestuck is gonna keep on going no matter what. No matter what Hussey or what Pumpkin decides to do, because again, I feel like us fans have always had a hold of Homestuck. We're the ones making fanon that everybody kind of wants to accept as canon. We're the ones making stories that people making stories for the characters that people want to see, and we're still trying to make stuff that's compelling, even though Homestuck Beyond Canon just didn't give people what they want, because it was that cry of trying to do more for an actual sequel of Homestuck than what Beyond Canon was trying to provide. And that I feel like that's what I feel like people need to take away from these sequels. That a sequel to Homestuck 2 can be possible. You just have to really understand what the people actually want. Not what you just want, what they want too. And if that makes us stupid or ungrateful, well, fuck it, I must be. And the funk, I want to just say, I don't hate. I don't hate you as a person. I just don't like those. I don't like the Jane let Jane be evil essay, because I feel like you don't even really think. You don't really even think about like Jane as a character. You just it felt like you were just kind of It felt like you were pulling from memory. And to me, Jane never felt privileged. Jane never felt like she was blissfully ignorant. All that other shit. Jane was a teenager that didn't understand the shit that being a heir apparent of a baking empire really entailed. Because all she really wanted to do was play a game to hang out with her friends. That's all that was. But it's like you see it as, oh, she was just waving around privilege and all this other stuff, and she wasn't. She was skeptical to a very to she was skeptical. She's skeptical because she pulls jokes on people, and she thought her friends were just fucking with her. What else is there? Well, it makes sense that Jane would become evil because real life. I'm like, I really feel like Jane became evil because of extenuating circumstances beyond anybody's control, and beyond her control because Dirk. Yeah, like your sort of best friend kind of freaking comes into your head and makes you a fascist. That's totally how things work. I like the old me would have called Funk a bunch of motherfuckers bastards and call him a bitch ass motherfucker. But the me now, I'm not gonna call him anything. I'm just gonna say, to me, you want all that to be correct. But it's like the thing I remember from Jane is that she all she ever really wanted to be around her friends, and want to be with Jake because she was in love with Jake. And the fact that Jake was like dodging her and just never giving her a straight up answer that he wasn't interested, that's what pissed her off even more. But it's also Jane's fault because she never was really clear about how she felt about Jake because she was so timid. And if you guys remember her Crocker, when she was Crocketeer and basically said to Jake, "Hey, I'm gonna use you as a breeding stud because, well, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm mind controlled and evil, and I want to do that." But hence what I said, mind control, you know, propaganda, sleeper agent code. She has been fed through her entire life because she had that tiara, even back then. But you're like, but you're like, Jane isn't evil because of mind control. It's because of real life. But when you think about what the actual canon stuff that's actually given and not from your own freaking mind, you start to understand that Jane being evil is a lot of different things compounding into one thing. That's how they could have went with it, but they didn't. So you saying let Jane be evil, it pretty much undercuts everything that Jane went through because you wanted to make this freaking essay so punchy and so like it actually made sense. Like to me, it never will make sense because you because be it from your own misremembering or you just wanting to make this a lot more compelling than it actually was, or maybe both. That's why I just really didn't like your video even back then. I guess I was like, no, that's wrong. That doesn't make sense. And for the longest time, I'd be like, were we reading the same comic? Because, yeah, no. But regardless, Homestuck 2 is and shall ever be a colossal mess of ideas, of tone, of everything else. And that ain't gonna and for me that ain't gonna change. That's why I like things like Take Back Canon and Home Slice because again, they really do prove that a sequel can be achieved and at least people can be pleased. Most of the people can be pleased for the most part without sacrificing what made these characters good in the first place. But that's how I feel about it. Now, Mr. McLovin, you can feel any kind of way you want. You know, like you can think I'm a dick, you can think I'm an asshole, you can think that I'm this, I'm that, I'm a freaking jack towel with a hat, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, I just feel like you like either misremembered or tried to make this essay more than it was. And yes, they were your opinions, and I'm not faulting you for that. I'm faulting you for not even like remotely thinking about reading it again and not seeing that Jane wasn't privileged or anything like that. I'm not even gonna talk about the Roxy thing because honestly, I don't like the hate canon, but that doesn't mean I hate trans people or trans representation. What it means is I feel like Roxy shouldn't have been trans. I think it should have been a completely new character all their own. I feel like that could have worked instead of putting something on the existing character and hoping that it would stick. And I was afraid to even talk about that because, like, legit, I just didn't want people to think I was, I didn't want people to think I was a goddamn transphobe. Because I'm a lot of things, my friend, but I'm not a transphobe. I don't like people. I don't like people who think just because someone doesn't like something that's inherently trans, there probably is another reason. Some people are transphobes, but in this case, I don't like it because it just felt like it was poorly implemented just so you guys can have representation. And I don't think that's cool. When it could have been something else, like another character. Another character that is new to all the stuff in RC. That you can use as a vehicle to refresh eyes against the characters we already know. And even some people who like Roxy even felt like that was poorly implemented. But if you think that they're just transphobes or, because they don't like that, that's not really the case. Some may be, some may not. You can't really, you can't really assume that someone's like a transphobe just because they don't like one of these things. And I'm not doing the whole, oh, it's because my best friend's a trans. No, it's like you can't assume in this thing. Any of you can assume that I'm a transphobe just because I didn't want trans Roxy to be a thing. It just felt poorly implemented, and I felt like the person who wrote it just was like, how can I make this fit? How can I make this fit? How can I make this fit in existing canon? I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna try my best. And then boom, that's how it happened. But yeah, I was afraid of talking about this because I didn't want to be taken a whole different way when really that's not what I was trying to do. That's not my intention. My intention is to just talk about this for what it is. I just feel like everything that Homestuck 2 tried to do was very poorly executed. That includes Roxy. That includes a lot of this stuff. And that includes Homestuck 2 being fucking. That includes the epilogues in Homestuck 2 being bleak as hell. Like, yeah, I get it. The world was bleak even then, but it's like. But, like, could we show that there's hope even in the darkest of situations? That politics don't need to be in every corner of our lives? That we can actually enjoy a sequel without having any kind of baggage with it? Those things could have been important too, but I guess the writers had their plans and just it didn't pan out. And also the idiots who basically threw those death threats in, which I fucking hate. I don't condone those motherfuckers, and I hope they get their asses beat. But as it stands, I will always, always think that Homestuck 2 Beyond Canon was a waste of potential. A waste of perfectly good material that they could have used. It was all a waste. Whether you all see that or not, that's how I feel. Waste of potential. Waste of the time that we all put into reading the thing. Nothing was ventured and nothing was gained. But everybody did get pissed off. And everybody getting pissed off lit the fire of wanting more from this sequel than what we were given. And that's why I'll always praise Home Slice, Home Slice, and Take Back Canon and any other Homestuck sequel that tries to do something different. Because because some of these people do understand these characters to the point where when I read Home Slice or Take Back Canon, it at least sounds natural that these characters would say this. Like Huzzy is writing it himself. Like it's like Huzzy like gave his blessing and he's just like helping these people along, when even though that's not the case. But it feels that organic. Because in both scenarios, the characters are not in this bleak depression. And in Take Back Cannon, they've won. They're the victors, and they're just trying to figure out what they want to do with this civilization. And in Home Slice, people are living their lives, man. People are living their lives. Moving past all the shit that went down and trying to get some normalcy, even though some of them are freaking somewhat immortal. I don't know if they're still immortal in Home Slice. Anybody that wants to confirm that, who is on that team, who was on the writing team for that, tell me. I don't know, or maybe they're not concerned with that. Homestuck 2. We will meet again. Maybe I'll look at you a little bit more favorably. Maybe. Just maybe. Well, I gotta go, guys. I'll see you later. I'm gonna probably, I don't know. I was thinking of streaming something. I was thinking of streaming, like, Towers Unite, and we're just, like, hanging out. You know, we're gonna just hang out in my condo. I don't know, we could just hang out, do something in my condo. Something cool. That's what I was thinking about. But I'll be seeing you. Funk. Everybody that likes Homestuck 2 or doesn't like Homestuck 2, I'll be seeing you. Because there'll be plenty of videos where I talk about various Homestuck things I like and dislike. Because I rather talk about the stuff I like or dislike than vehemently say that it's good just for the sake of it being good. Or just the sake of it being a sequel. Or a sequel didn't have to be made, but they did anyway, and that's good. When I saw Homestuck 2, I was excited. I was happy. I thought we'd feel that same excitement that I felt. And I did get caught up in the hype. I did think that this is gonna, it's gonna pick up, it's gonna be great, but I couldn't, and I was lying to myself and saying that every creative decision was like for the best, but I can't deny that, Homestuck 2 kinda sucked. Let me rephrase that. It did suck. But that's how I feel about it. I feel like for something we were waiting for, it just let me down. And it let a bunch of other people down. So it's not just me that feels like that. Homestuck 2 Take Back Canon feels the same way. Home Slice feels the same way. The people that are redoing Homestuck from the ground up feel the same way. So I'm not the only one here. I'm not just some fucking crazy motherfuckers shouting at the dark hoping motherfuckers can hear me. I'm a fan of seeing some shit, and honestly, I'm finally gonna let this go and start enjoying what I enjoy. But yeah, when Homestuck Beyond Canon comes back, we'll have a big ass read. It's gonna be like hours on hours and hours. And I'm gonna probably be like day one stream, day two stream, day three stream. It's gonna be a big ass stream when we get to it. Because I won't be able to contain it in like one video. We're gonna be like going for it. But until that but like my dad always used to say, until that mystical magical day arrives, I'm just gonna be I'm just going to do what I do. Peace.